G'day footy fans and welcome back to PommyInOz. I'm the Pom, I'm in Oz, your go-to channel for all things AFL with a cheeky northern flair. Grab your pies, grab your pints or make a brew as we dive into what was a ripping round one 2025 season. From thrilling comebacks to unexpected blowouts, we've got you all covered to catch up on the round that was. So let's run that intro, let's get stuck straight into it. So Thursday night, the AFL gods bestowed on us what was a cracker and an unexpected result. The Tigers pulled off an absolute Houdini act that will be one for the ages. Coming back from a 41-point deficit against the Carlton Blues, 82-69. Talk about snatching victory from the jaws of defeat. This was the biggest turnaround since the Allies left Dunkirk and then 4 years later won at D-Day. Absolute crazy turnaround. The evening kicked off with Carlton looking like the big boys. They came out so quick it was like they were shot out of a cannon and they dominated the opening exchanges. Chera looked like he was world class in the opening quarter, racking up 16 touches. But midway through the second term, the Tigers brought the pressure and the Blues bottled it big time. The fans were already planning the victory shindig in quarter time, but they had to hold on to their scarves. The Tigers, led by their skipper Toby Nankervis, notching up 21 touches and 35 hitouts with 2 snags. Richmond turned the tide very quickly. Sam Layla was electric on debut, collecting 18 touches, booting 2 goals, including the one that got them back in front. Ending with some triple backflips from goals, Carlton seemed to forget which end they were kicking. They looked cagey, they were uninspired, they were fumbly, they literally looked like a 16-year-old taking off a bra for the first time. And as Brendan Fev said, one of the darkest days in Carlton's history, and that is quite a dark history chapter book. The Blues' inability to halt Richmond's momentum was baffling, and at times these boys looked more confused than a vegan at a sausage sizzle. The comeback was sealed with some razzle-dazzle, as we said, by Seth Campbell. He did a triple somersault that would really look good in the Olympics. So there you have it. The Tigers showed more heart than a Valentine's Day card, and the Blues, they were left singing the blues. Up next, Hawthorn played Essendon Friday night at the G, and this was a good old ding-dong battle. The Hawks winning by 26, 17-9, 111 to Bombers 12-13, 85. And Hawthorn's small forwards were literally buzzing around this like bees at a picnic. Dylan Moore, 3 goals. Nick Watson and Ginnivan chipping in with 2 apiece. And the Bombers, they had their moment, especially in the midfield. Caldwell was busier than a one-armed bricklayer in Baghdad. He had 36 touches and a game-high 10 clearances. Zach Merritt, their captain, he put in a big shift, 2 goals, 26 touches. But there were injuries. Ridley and Langford went off. That didn't help their cause. A big 81k turned up, though, the biggest home and away crowd between these two clubs. And the Hawks saw this game out. And the Bombers will lick their wounds, but will feel capable of bouncing back. As they say, it's a classic old game. Sam Mitchell said they deserved to lose, showing the standards of the Hawks. This will be an intriguing one going forward, because both sides looked like they got a lot out of it, but Hawks look mighty, mighty fine. Saturday, we went to GMHBA, and the Fremantle Dockers travelled over to Victoria with lots of hope on Fremantle. Fremantle appeared to be the Adelaide Crows of 2023, and the Cats handled them comprehensively. 78-point drubbing, 23-9, 147, playing 10-9, 69. Good number. The Cats came out purring. They were relentless with their pressure, and the Dockers looked like a kangaroo stuck in the headlights for most of this game. Geelong opened up almost a 30-point lead thanks to their ferocious tackling and their zip line-like ball movement. Bailey Smith looking absolutely sensational with a headband, and after an injury played nearly 2 years, it feels like, he racked up 32 touches, 7 clearances and a goal, proving he is one hell of a pickup. The Dockers did have something to smile about. Debutant Murphy Reid, we've been hot on him. We called him Mr. Consistency, the steal of the draft. He lit it up. 4 goals in a matter of minutes, cutting the margin to 21 points in the final break. However, that was extinguished as the Cats showed on their class. 10 goals to 1 in the final term. And Longmire didn't mince his words. He said it was clearly unacceptable, lamenting the lack of toughness to cope with Geelong's pressure. But the Cats have sent a warning to the competition. While the Dockers will need to regroup faster than a barmaid at last call. It's a rollercoaster ride, and we're just getting started. Sydney then hosted Brisbane at the SCG, and this was a nail-biter. The Brisbane Lions edged out the Swans by a cat's whisker, winning by 4 points, 12-14, 86 to the Lions, 12-10, 82 to the Swans. And the Swans, they came out all guns blazing, booting the first 4 goals, and the Lions were shell-shocked. But Brisbane aren't the reigning premiers for nothing. They weren't going to let Sydney waltz away with it, and they clawed their way back. Zach Bailey being phenomenal at half forward, getting 4 goals, and he was slippier than a bar of soap at times. Sydney, their own worst enemy in the second and third quarter. Basic skill errors, hitting targets that weren't there. They managed to fumble the ball a lot. And the skill errors were literally as common as flies at a barbecue. In the dying moments, the Swans did tail wag. Defender Matt Roberts, though, went straight into Josh Dunkley. Didn't need any invitation. He put them 2 goals clear. It was an interesting one because a lot of former Swans players, including Ryan O'Keefe, said it's not AFL standard. They need to cut out the excuses. And it looks quite damning for Sydney, despite a late goal at the end for Isaac Heaney that brought it back to with 5. Brisbane saw that game out really easy. 0-2 to start the season. Fremantle next week in Perth, and then not back in Sydney for what feels like an eternity. Lions continue their impressive start to the season. They really do look like the team to beat. As for Sydney, back to the drawing board. New coach. How long is it until we say new system, new coach? Is there issues there? It's a game of inches, and Sydney found themselves quite short. Then we go over to Marvel Stadium. The Dogs entertained North Melbourne. The Bulldogs fending off the spirited Kangaroos by 16 points. 17-11, 113 to 14-13, 97. The Dogs were almost like a representative side. No Montepelli, no Treloar. Ed Richards, though, did step up. 30 touches, slotting a goal. Liberatore did what Liberatore does. 28 touches. And Matty Kennedy, my boy, 23 touches and really looking free from his Carlton days. Nick Larkey really did give hope for the Roos. 5 goals. And kept them within striking distance. But despite their dominance in clearances and contested possessions, particularly in the late in the third, early in the fourth, their poor efficiency in the forward half of the ground really was their undoing. It took a real bad turn, though, in the fourth. Luke Cleary going off with what was a horrible, horrible incident. Jackson Archer, I don't think there was a lot in it in the terms of malice, but he was unconscious, stretchered off. The incident has sparked discussion as a 3-game ban has been handed down to Jackson Archer. It did look like a complete accident there. Despite the Roos' relentless efforts, though, Bulldogs' efficiency, game experience and smarts put them paid, and this is 8 games now in a row they've beaten the North Melbourne. The Roos will need to address these inefficiencies. Although it was spirited, it has to be said that the Dogs are a B team at the minute, and to be a few goals off the Dogs, who many people have sliding, despite the inexperience, does show that if they can't get that efficiency right, it is going to be a problem for them going into the season. It's all well and good having that stat dominance, but wasn't quite good enough. A lot to think about for Clarkson, but Dogs, when they get players back, if they play like that, there will be a problem. Then we went Saturday evening, MCG. This was a game we were live for, and it was meant to be a good game, but it wasn't really. The Pies absolutely swooped on Port. 91-point shellacking. 21-10, 136 to 6-9-45. The Magpies came off a humbling loss, and we did talk about this, and it was incredibly disappointing. Poor ball use, poor pressure, and they came out with a point to prove. Tim Membry wasted no time. 3 goals to open the match. He set the tone. Bag of 4 for him. Myercheck and McStay, 3 each. And it wasn't just the forwards. Dan Houston, absolutely instrumental from the back half of the ground. 27 touches, 89% efficiency, coming through like your auntie does at Christmas, and along with 10 intercept possessions. Port Adelaide looked like they were just a mob full of stunned mullets, to be honest. It was leakier than a rusty tap. Their forward line couldn't hit the side of a barn. Ken Hinckley didn't mince his words, miles off the pace and beaten badly. And the only bad thing for Pies was their banner tore at the start. But once the game began, there was no tearing apart here for anyone but Port Adelaide. They got absolutely battered. Pies definitely backed up my words that they're not too old and too slow. This was a blip. While the power, they are going to have to find something deep to avoid these blackouts. Is it a linear thing? I'm not too sure. As the saying footy, only 1 week at a time, but based on this was a real rib tickler for the Pies and not a laughing matter for Port. Then we went over, we were live for this one, Adelaide Oval. The Crows soared high against the Saints, who will be left seeking divine intervention after this one. Adelaide dismantled St Kilda by a 63-point margin, 21-9-135, 10-12, 72. The Crows were absolutely flying in this game, executing the basics, the fundamentals, kicking 5 unanswered goals in the opening quarter. Darcy Fogarty, 4 goals. Phil Thorpe looking phenomenal. Good beard as well, 3 goals, showcasing that they're going to be incredibly dangerous. And it's almost like at times their pressure was like being in a Humvee and hitting a kangaroo at midnight. No winner there for the Saints. They were so intense, the Adelaide. Their midfield was slick. Captain Jordan Dawson was everywhere. 27 touches, 2 goals. Isaac Rankine, 28 touches, 2 goals, making Saints' defence look as sturdy as a chocolate teapot. Adelaide's recruits made an immediate impact. Peatling and Cumming offering some real reliability, and Neil Bullen hitting the scoreboard, but being a constant menace for Saints' ball movement in the back half. They've sent an early message that they mean business. The one concern for Adelaide will be the amount of scoring shots they hemorrhaged. A better side may have been able to take it. Saints did have options, but Saints were very wasteful and they were very indisciplined and ill-structured. There is some concerns there. That was the opposite of a Ross the Boss game. One will watch with intrigue. Sunday, the Demons versus the Giants. They delivered a thriller that had the fans on the edge of their seat. The Giants emerged victorious by a slender 3-point margin, clinching the game 11-11-77 to 11-8-74. They burst out the gate strong, Toby Green and Canelio kicking 3 snags apiece to set the tone early, and the dynamic play had the Giants leading both first and second breaks. Not to be outdone though, the Demons wagged their tail and showed a spirited third quarter comeback. Caleb Windsor, Sparrow and Bowie each kicking in the big sticks, propelling the Demons into the lead. Max Gawn was a standout and dominated in the ruck, providing his midfield with opportunities. The last term was tighter than a hipster's pair of jeans. With less than a minute on the clock, veteran Lachlan Keefe, who had been quieter than a mouse in a library, bobbed up with a clutch mark, slotting the goal and giving the Giants the slimmest of wins and leaving the Demons feeling flat as attack. Tom Green was a ball magnet in this game, racking up 32 touches and showcasing the kind of form that has everyone reaching for Panadol. Petrarca was his usual brilliant self. The match had everything you'd want in a game of football: gutsy plays, contentious calls, and finishing on the edge of your seat. The Giants showed, though, they won't be underestimated this season, but the Demons will lick their wounds and know that they are going to be a threat. And then we finish Eagles Gold Coast Suns Sunday, Optus Oval, and the Suns absolutely walked over this. Their largest ever victory, 87 points, 20-16-136, 7 goals, 7 for Eagles, 49 points. And the Suns were hotter than a jalapeno in a heatwave. Noah Anderson, Rout, Miller were dominant, racking up possessions, clearances, and control of the game. New captain Noah Anderson was absolutely sensational. 36 touches, 9 clearances, and involved in absolutely everything. And Rout had 30 and 10 clearances. A forward line looked really up and about. Ben King, 6 goals. His third quarter mark might be mark of the year already. The Eagles, McQuarter had a baptism of fire. They were ineffective in the middle. They were defenseless at times, 67 inside 50s. Baker and Graham tried valiantly, but they couldn't get them going. And it was akin to shoveling sand against the tide. Damien Hardwick offered some solace, saying the coaching prowess isn't going to be an improvement for the Eagles. It may not be soon, but it will happen. But Dimmer has brought Richmond ball to Gold Coast. Their slingshot looked sensational. They are very dangerous. It's a very bold approach, and I stand by my words in pre-season. It won't be as defensively sound as it used to be, but it was poor. So there you have it. There's the round one. We'll leave you with the power rankings that you guys dictate. Make sure you like and subscribe. Until next time, I'm out of here. Peace.